All right. Okay. We can go now.
Okey-dokey.
Okay.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Crystal Mitchell. First of all, thank everyone for joining. This is a collaborative effort of a member of community-based organization dedicated to the Black business community, both regional as well as on national footprint. Again, my name is Stephen Turner. I'm the managing director of the Slayton Group. We are an employee benefit insurance risk management company. It's my pleasure to introduce our first co-host, moderator, Crystal Mitchell.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you. Thank you, guys. Hi, Colette. Glad to have you guys again this week. We have a great guest, and I have a phenomenal co-host today. We've come back together. She was in a class of mine years ago. We did a mastermind group, so I am pleased to have Miss Kelly Redmond.
At the Urban League.
At the Urban League, that's my second home. RBD is my first home, and the Urban League is my second home. So welcome to everyone. This community briefing is to make sure that our community stays informed. And it's formed by people that are actually sitting at the table and making decisions. Because as you guys know, we're usually the last one to know anything. And when we do start to act, it's already been acted out. And so, we have to stop that. So I want to thank you for participating and supporting us. Thank you for Stephen for bringing all our great guests and co-hosts. And so today we are going to be honored with Mr. Michael Lawson. He's going to talk to us about what's going on in our community, what's going on in the world from a civil rights position, the insane racism that's reared its ugly head, and where the Urban League is standing on that. This is their wheelhouse. And voting, and how important it is for us to do that, and then programs and tell you what's going on over at the Urban League. So we want to welcome all of you. And so I'm going to turn this over to Miss Kelly so she can talk to you about herself and her Impact Enterprise and the amazing things that they're doing in the community. I want to congratulate her on her podcast that she's doing now. So turn it over to you, Miss Kelly.
Thank you, Crystal. It is a pleasure to be reconnected with you, doing things together. And thank you, Stephen, for bringing us all together, and especially in support of the amazing work that the Urban League is doing, and being with Michael and everyone here this morning. I am originally from Chicago, born and raised, but at the age of 12, when my parents brought me here on my very first visit, I knew that I was supposed to be here. It took a while to figure out why and how to get here, but I moved myself, planned to get a job, and then I ended up launching not only a business, but also a nonprofit, which is what I came to do, to get a job and get the nonprofit. So I am a firm supporter of the small business community, having been an entrepreneur a good half of my life. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents were both entrepreneurs, and my mother was my first business partner in my mid-20s. We had the Innovations Consulting Group, and I expanded the company that was Chicago-based to Atlanta. But when I moved to LA, I launched a sole proprietorship, Impact Enterprises, and recently incorporated as Impact Enterprises Global, Inc. And actually Monday was our 7-year anniversary of launching the company in LA on my birthday. And I also launched Impact Media and Entertainment Coalition. And Impact Media is a nonprofit, and our focus is using media and entertainment for social change. We've had the pleasure and the honor of collaborating with Crystal and RBD and the Urban League over the years. And through my work as a consultant, I've primarily focused in the space of community development, working with a lot of our historic nonprofit organizations and I typically, although work with everybody, but have a true passion for systemic change affecting, the Black community, and have worked and or partnered with most of our historic and legacy Black nonprofits in LA, including Joe, who's here today, and good to see you, among many others. So I'm just excited to be here and a part of, the conversation today. Just in the midst of the pandemic, we launched a live stream series called Impact Media Presents. Had the pleasure of having Michael on one of the first couple shows. And tomorrow will actually be our 30th live stream, and we'll be featuring Dr. Janetta Cole and Janice Mathis of the National Council of Negro Women. And on Tuesday, we had Dr. Bernice King from the King Center. She's the CEO and, of course, daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. But the platform and the work that I do is all about making a social impact, ensuring that we have adequate, not just adequate, but abundant resources for the work in the Black community, and ensure that our people, achieve equity as well as diversity and inclusion. And so that's my primary focus. I work cross-sector, focus on collaboration and collaborating around cross-sector partnerships and strategic partnerships. So very happy to be a part of this discussion today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And I think I've kind of skipped this part. I'm Crystal Mitchell. I'm the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, and as well as I have a podcast called The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert that broadcasts live every Friday afternoon from 3 p.m. Tomorrow, we're excited. We have the legendary family-owned business. Harold and Belle, Ryan and Jessica are going to be talking about the legacy of maintaining and continuing on their family business. So please tune in. We stream live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So with that, we're going to just jump right on in with our guests, because we have a lot of conversation, a lot of things we want to talk about today. So Mr. Lawson, Mr. Michael Lawson, who is the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Urban League. He's a retired partner after 31 years at his law firm, and during his tenure, he was appointed to the LA Airport Commission. And now we are blessed to have him in Los Angeles at the Los Angeles Urban League doing some phenomenal things. So with that, you all know Mr. Lawson. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to him. Welcome, Michael. Glad to have you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I know a lot of you on the call, and we've had a number of conversations. So, I'll say a few words, but I want this to be more of a conversation as opposed to just hearing me talk. And I know Kelly and Crystal have a number of questions that they have for me. But let me just say that taking the position of the president of the Los Angeles Urban League has been one of the most gratifying opportunities that I've had throughout my career, and it is one of the most important ones as well. Taking the reins from our iconic legend John Mack, and being in a position to rebuild the organization and put it back in its proper position as one of the leading civil rights organizations in Los Angeles has been just a joy and an honor. We are rebuilding it in a slightly different fashion than it was before, focused on, of course, workforce development, but pivoting more toward entrepreneurship. Because as Crystal, as the title of our organization, it says recycling back dollars is the key to economic empowerment within this country. And that has to be done through setting up an ecosystem where employees can spend their dollars within their community. And that doesn't happen without entrepreneurial a structure that supports the entrepreneurialism that is within our community. Absolutely, we need access to capital, access to credit, access to professionals who can provide the backroom support and things of that nature. But more than anything else, we need to support one another in that endeavor. So we are committed to doing that. We are partnering with other organizations to help us do that as we rebuild not only the Los Angeles Urban League, but we rebuild our community as well. And we're working hand in hand with other organizations, along with the Robert Saucedo and others on this call. We have been working to build a collaborative community within community-based organizations, so that we are operating more efficiently and effectively, not duplicating administrative expenses, so that more money goes to the benefit of the communities that we serve. And I would be remiss if I didn't say what we have been able to do. We couldn't have done without the amazing staff that we have. Everybody's punching above their weight, working very hard, working remotely, and putting the Los Angeles Urban League back on the map in terms of our voice and our activities and our actions. And we're proud to take a leading role in moving things along, but it's not just about us, it's about the community that we serve, and what we do, what we look like, what people think of us is irrelevant if we're not getting results. And the people that I see on this Zoom call are key to us finding that success. And in the midst of some of the most horrific times that we've seen, you look at Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the police there giving coffee to a vigilante with a rifle, shooting 2 people. This is what we're up against. And make no mistake, this is not new. This is who they are. They have been emboldened by the president and his administration to come out into the open, but this is not new. So I just want to admonish the younger generation that says it's never been this bad. Oh, it has been this bad. It's been worse. Our people who came before us have fought and died to get us to this point. There is still a long way to go, but I don't want to diminish the sacrifice of those who came before us. But we still have a lot of work to do. And a big part of that work is voting this year, filling out the census and voting. I was watching an interview a couple of days ago, and you know how the news stations do, they try to pit Black people of different mindsets against one another on television, and it was this young brother. I could tell that he was very passionate, but he said something that is very troublesome. He said, "I'm not going to vote. I'm just going to protest." And I wanted to say to that young brother, it's not either or, it's both and. We have to fight, and we have to be in the streets, and we have to do it in a way that lifts up our community, but we have to vote. You may not think that one candidate, and you know, trying to protect my C3 status, one candidate is not, that neither candidate says and does exactly what you want, but we have to vote for the one we know will listen to us, and where we will have some ability to move the needle through their offices. The person that we have in the office right now, it doesn't even care. So with that, I will, on that bright note, I will open it up to questions from Kelly and Crystal.
Kelly, I'll take the first one, and then after that, we can kind of. So, as the Urban League celebrates its 100-year anniversary, what do you foresee in the next 10 years for the organization? And how about what's the Black community, and how you envision what we may look like 10 years from now, or 2 years from now?
Thank you for that question. My dream is that we rebuild Greenwood in Los Angeles, that we turn South Los Angeles into an oasis of economic growth through building the entrepreneurship base that we've been talking about, and where we have access to credit and access to capital because we're investing in our own banks, because we are investing in we have our own investment funds, and we and we're investing in our schools, and to dig a little deeper on your 10-year timeline, one of the things that we're going to have to do right away is figure out a way to recover from this pandemic with respect to our students. So many of our kids didn't have access to the internet, and if they did have access to the internet, didn't have the equipment necessary to access it properly, didn't have the adult supervision available to discipline them to focus on the online learning, because a lot of the parents are essential workers and weren't home. So we have this gap, and if we don't act quickly and consistently, that gap is going to follow these kids all the way through their next 12 years of school. We have to make that up. So one of the things we're talking about at the Urban League is setting up kind of a Saturday school, and asking for volunteers to come in and help to make up that gap. If we were talking about a football or a basketball training program, nobody would have a problem spending their Saturdays. That's what we got to do over the next 12 years, is spend our Saturdays making up this gap. And not only making up this gap, I want us to exceed beyond where we are today. Not third graders reading at third grade level, third graders reading at fifth grade level. We want to excel, because we excel at everything we try to do. There's no question about it. And so let's just focus on this. But that is where we are 10 years from now will depend upon what we do today with our students, along with the other things that we've been talking about. So yes, we're going to rebuild Greenwood in Los Angeles.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And Saturday school works. I think, when we look at other cultures, they have Saturday school, and Saturday school is to teach their children about their culture. And I think that's really lacking with our children. They don't know who they are. That young man made that comment to you, or that you saw about the protests, is because he doesn't understand or know the history. He knows bits and pieces of his history, but he doesn't know his history from the continent to the journey here. And so I think that's extremely important, is empowering. There are many of us, even on this call, that don't know all our history and all of the accomplishments that we made. So Saturday school might need to be include some of our Black adults too. Because I think that's important. All right,
Crystal.
Yes.
Crystal, I want to just follow up on one comment Michael made, which was an observation that he had regarding the cup of coffee to a vigilante. Equally as alarming and troubling to me, and for some of you that may have been watching the footage, is 4 tanks drive by a white kid with an automatic weapon, and 3 police cars drive right by him as well. No one even bothers or have a notion of, is this unusual? Is there a problem here? Just merely driving by. And most of you know my background. And as a former law enforcement person, I just say, boy, we got a long, long, long way to go.
Yeah, it's actually scary, Joe, because even police officers that are of color are having the same problems as we regular citizens, and they carry guns. So I don't know where we move from here, but I think making a noise and stopping the flow of our cash is the first step. So I am very proud of what the NBA and all the athletes, even I'm a big I love tennis. And so Naomi Osaka stepped up. And so now I'm waiting to see if if the Williams sisters are going to step up, because that would be incredibly impactful if all the sports where all Black folks are making money for other folks just still, we're done. We're just done. And that's really where we should be right now. We're done. So, Kelly, you want to go with the next?
Yes, I'll go ahead. So, Michael, we're in two global pandemics, not just the coronavirus, but the global pandemic of anti-racism. Can you let us all know how both pandemics have affected, because there's created challenges, but then also opportunities with another. So if you could share with us, we'd appreciate that.
Well, let's be clear that the pandemic, the health pandemic is there. We understand it.
Right.
And if done correctly, it will run its course. We're going to lose some additional people because of I was about to call them mistakes, but just incompetence of our current administration.
Yes.
Lives have been lost unnecessarily. But over time, that will, we will come out of this. Hopefully with a new administration, we will make some headway. On the racism front, this is not new. You know, what's new is the worldwide response, the Rainbow Coalition of people who are saying that this is not acceptable. And the pushback from the Republican Party is not new. It is just being vocalized. So this is a fight that has continued. That you can draw a line from John Lewis's walk over the Pettus Bridge and before. This is a fight that we have been fighting for since we were stolen from the African shores. And it is a fight that will not end quickly, but it is moving in the right direction, because people who believed in our position but were silent are speaking up, and there is what you see in the protests, which are largely peaceful, is an awakening of the belief that in our own power. That you see across these young people, and I love to see that. We just need to channel it. We need to focus it. We need to be as part of the group of individuals who fought during the 60s and 70s and have been spending most of our time trying to move the needle. We need to help educate this younger generation as to what has worked and what doesn't work, but we also have to give them credit for the energy that they have brought to this table. I do not want to denigrate or fail to give credit to Black Lives Matter. There is no question that we are here in large part because of what Black Lives Matter has done consistently since they were formed, taking the hard line, making the status quo uncomfortable. I remember years ago being at an event, and the speaker got up and she prefaced her remarks by saying, "I am here to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable." Mm. And that's what we need to do. If you were comfortable with what the situation was before George Floyd was killed, you were in the wrong place. And we got to move people out of that space and make them realize and understand what we go through every single day when we encounter the police. We need to make sure that the police department are diversified, and not just with people of color, but people of color who understand what their role is. We have to change the way policing is. Joe and I are on a panel working with LAPD, and we are. Is not just we giving them advice on what they should do with respect to their recruiting, but it's about the training as well, and it's about who you recruit and why you're recruiting them, and are you serious about changing the culture of this organization. And we have to have those uncomfortable conversations with people. And listen, my job here as president of the Los Angeles Urban League is to afflict the comfortable.
I like
and Michael,
that.
Can you tell us how COVID-19 has affected your business operations?
We have been working remotely. And I give all credit to our staff for pivoting as quickly as they did, but more importantly, we've had to run a number of our programs on a remote basis, and we have done so as best as we can. Again, we have to focus on and be cognizant of those participants in our program who don't have access to Wi-Fi or the tools to access the Wi-Fi. So we're making sure that happens, and we're getting some donations from organizations to support that. But with that, it is going very well. A lot of credit to our staff for making the pivot as quickly as they did. Excuse me. The results are very well. Some of the training is over Zoom, and we are continuing to address the needs of the community. But we have also have additional roles to play in passing out personal protective PPE, and making sure that people have the money through gift cards and cash disbursements, so that they can have food to eat and things of that nature. We can't do everything, and there are a lot of things that we are doing through collaboration with other organizations. One of the populations that you don't hear talked about enough, and we have to find out ways to, we have to keep them in top of mind, is our homeless population. Before the pandemic, that was first and foremost on the discussions that we had with City Hall. We are making sure that in our conversations with our city councilman and the administration, that is not lost. They have assured us that they are doing what they can to address those issues, but candidly, the resources aren't being focused in that direction. And we need to push harder to protect the most vulnerable portions of our community in that respect.
Thank you.
So Michael, on a couple of those programs that is going on at the Urban League, I'm a consultant with, but I can think one of our wonderful success stories this summer was how we made the pivot for Biz Camp, which is a program that's been with the Urban League for the past 15 years. And as well as I've worked with the program for 8 years. And for me, it's a pure joy. And I thank you guys for supporting us and making it virtual. And I know you spoke to some of the kids and met some of the kids. So can we talk about that a little bit? One, how that has, I was surprised that we did so well. How about you?
I wasn't surprised, because I know the talent that you and the other staffers who run BizCamp. Your dedication is just outstanding. The response that the kids have to you is wonderful, and I expected nothing less. But to watch those kids on the screen make their presentations in the most professional way. It was just outstanding. Which is why I'm very comfortable saying that we're going to rebuild Greenwood, because we're going to rebuild Greenwood with them. The ideas that they came up with, the discipline that with which they operated and acted and responded to the staff, responded to the questions, had thought things through in terms of how they were going to market their product, how they were going to create their product, how they were going to expand as they move forward, the ingenuity. It's just incredible. I feel very comfortable with the next generation, and I love the fact that they're thinking about becoming business owners as opposed to becoming employees, because that's going to make the difference. That's going to make the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, can you share a little bit more about the programs and resources available through the Urban League's Entrepreneurship Center?
Well, we're, excuse me. It's all about giving existing and new entrepreneurs the tools necessary to run a business. And to seek out customers, to seek out clients. It's not just retail customers. There's a huge market in being a supplier to a larger business, and a lot of focus is coming to that. But the key still is access to credit and capital, and one of the things that we try to teach in these programs is that it is not about whether you can check a box or not, or can't check a particular box on the application. It's about your relationship with the institutions that have the available credit and capital, and so we're and understand that is one of the factors that is it's something. What I just spoke about is not something that is just found in an individual in our community. It is a mindset that has held back our community in general, and so we have to change that. And I understand why it happened. I understand the concept, but we have to change that 100%. So, because the fact of the matter is, when you take away the redlining and the legal impediments to getting access to capital and access to credit, the important thing is having a relationship with the banks and other finance companies, getting rid of the check cashing businesses that have preyed on our communities, getting rid of the bail system that's preyed on our communities. But the relationship with the financial institutions is key. Joe can talk about that more clearly than I can, and you know, we have the financial institutions online, and I'd love to hear from them about how we go about changing the mindset of people in our community with respect to this particular issue, because I can tell you from experience that the white businesses, their credit ratings are the same or worse, but they are able to get the capital infusion or the credit because of the relationships that they have. I promise you that my credit rating is probably better than Trump's, but
definitely.
The man has filed bankruptcy 5 times. You know, it's insane. But you know, something that we used to call, well, not used to, I call it white man's credit. It doesn't really matter. But the fact of the matter is, it's not just because they're white, it's because there's a relationship. And once you have that relationship and there's an understanding that you know, kind of that both will benefit from the project that you have going forward. It's an easy sell. It's an easy sell. And so, I mean, I'd love to hear from Joe and others about, you know, being on that side of the table. Talk about that aspect of it.
Joe, you want to interject?
Sorry, I stepped away for about a minute, so I missed that last commentary. So
he was just asking, far as banking and our credit, and how do we, being that you're in that space, how do we overcome, or how do we move forward so that there is more capital accessible to our small businesses? And I know we're in a unique time right now where the PPP money has rolled through. But what happens after that? What happens to when PPP money is not available, the EIDL is not available? Where are we going from there? And I know you're sitting at those tables having those conversations.
And I was just saying, Joe,
yeah.
that a big part of it that we need to understand is beyond being able to fill out the forms, there's got to be a relationship.
Absolutely. So yeah, and I think the relationship, one, the availability of capitals, two, but one that we tend sometimes to point fingers at the institutions, and rightfully so, is that we don't have our stuff together sometimes. And so I think it's critical, and actually what COVID has done for us, if anything on a positive nature, is this shift, and you know, everybody's using the word pivot, so I'll use it, pivoting to this new virtual reality. And you know, luckily for us, we were already in this mode, and so by the time January hit Vermont's Lawson, we were all 100% of our coursework was virtual. And so that's been one of the biggest impediments for particularly aspiring African-American entrepreneurs, is having the availability to get that TA and that coaching they need. Because, you know, for us, you know, I was somewhat amazed when I first came to Vermont's Lawson in January 2017, 2/3 of our coursework were attended by single mothers with children that were trying to launch their business. And so there was a number of impediments there. And so we've already seen, even though COVID has caused some interruption, some momentum and some growth in the level of participation in our coursework now that it's virtual. So it's my hope that we will have more individuals that are truly bankable. And when I say bankable, not necessarily that their bank will fund them, but even with the CDFIs, like I see Colette on there from PCR, and you know, USD Credit Union, who's now a CDFI. You know, we can do these loans, but you got to remember that when you come to a CDFI or community lender, we want to minimize our risk too. So we might do some things that a bank won't, such as we might take a 620 FICO score if through our business workshops, we can create 4 new jobs. Well, banks don't give a crap about job creation. Let me just be honest with you. They're about, can you pay this loan back and can we make money? There's much more to it, but that's 2 basic elements. So I think that the opportunity here is really to get folks scaled up and ready, and to be in a position where they can truly be considered to get access to capital. It's my job also, and some of my other colleagues on this call, to make sure that we put our advocacy hat on and call it what it is. One of the truly good feelings I have being on this side, being in public sector with the city for 29 years, is that I can call a spade, no pun intended. But I can truly call it like it is. So if the mayor's not doing what he's doing, and our 3 Black council members are not doing what I think they should be doing, I'll call them out. Now, I do that personally, but they need to be held accountable. And we don't have any problem doing that. So we kind of take the handcuffs off, because we don't have to be this politically correct organization. So hopefully I answered the question.
And thanks, Joe. And Robin Billups has a comment. that you'd like to make?
The sad part about it is there are a lot of experienced bankers in the marketplace who've been laid off, packaged out, pushed out, what have you. And what my experience has been, it is, and Michael, I truly appreciate what you've said and what Joe has said. I look at the people on this call, there's a lot of power here. But I think that it's more than just, it's not financial literacy, it's banking literacy. We need to help folks understand how banking is structured and why is it structured and if you can spend time on Facebook and social media, then you can spend time on your financial literacy. And so I think that when people that look like the folks that you're talking to can speak directly to them, yank their chain, pet them up, show them up, coach them up, I think that that's what we can do. I see this group. I know this majority of the folks on this call, and I'm excited about where it's going. And I totally agree with you, Joe, that the idea of, anytime there's adversity, we figure out some kind of way to make it work. We do. We really do. So I bring 30 years of commercial real estate construction financing to the table. I created supplier diversity for U.S. Bank, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm a nevertheless girl. I've been a nevertheless girl since I was 10 years old. And so my family, the Billups family, is committed to elevating our folks and getting something done. We all got to get to that gate one of these days. And I wanted him to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. So, but I have to be paid too. And that's the other side of it. People don't, here again, when I look at these organizations that are on this call, I sat on PCR's loan committee before I had Kenneth. That was 39 years ago. And so the organizations are there, the resources are there. We just don't want to read. We don't want to take our personal time to invest in ourselves. And I think we just have to shove it down their throats and they'll take it. But the other thing that I want to say, I truly have to entreat the Urban League in this business youth booth camp. And I know I'm not calling it right, but I'm telling you, these young people, the triplets, the young boys that are the three brothers that are doing the golf product. I was trolling online, found the president, the CEO of Top Golf. I sent them a note and told them to send him a note because think about it, 3 African-American males, trio of triplets from South Central Los Angeles creating golf apparel at an affordable price. He's interested in that. He's interested in that. They have compliance pieces that they have to meet. We have to shove the thing when it comes to this compliance where, these set asides, what have you, the opportunities are there, but we have to be ready for the opportunity. So again, thanks for the opportunity to speak, but I'm excited about where this is going. I always see bad times always bring out the best in us. It really does. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robin.
Paulette, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, I just had one other thing. I completely agree. And Michael, it's nice to see you on the call. You're putting up the good fight, and so we appreciate that. But Joe mentioned the technical assistance, which is something that we've seen, the big gap of people not being prepared. And there's a lot of work to do in that space. But one of the other things I wanted to share is that there are studies out that show not only, personal connection with a banker is great. However, we are finding, and there are studies that are showing that there is a gap in how we are treated. So the same thing that you mentioned, whether it's the protesters with the guns, how a white audience is treated differently. So part of it is some of the work that we need to do, but also I think that our bankers need to understand that there is subtle differences in the information that we're given the requests that are made of us, the information going back and forth is different, and it is not the same, and it is more favorable to the white communities than the Black and brown community. So I do think that that's another issue. So yes, we could do all the right things, get all of our financials together, have everything ready, and still go in and not be treated properly or equitably when we go in to look for a loan. So I just wanted to share that different treatment is something else that needs to be added, and an area where, the bankers need to know that that is not appropriate. So just because I know you, are you still treating me as well as you treat the other people? And so I would add that to the checklist of capital issues.
Absolutely.
Can I make an announcement? Crystal?
Yes.
Okay, I want to go back to, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody. I want to talk about this children's education and Sunday, Saturday school. I'm mounting a presentation that I did for the bicentennial in 1976 called Red, White, and Blues. And what it's designed to do is teach young children what our history is from Africa to today and the contributions that the African American has made to the world. So I will be putting that together and making it available, getting out the information, and I will be looking forward to sharing this information at any point with our youngsters, because they are our future and they need to be proud of where they came from and some of the things they've done. They may not be aware that they have made enormous contributions, science, medicine, law, arithmetic, all through history. We've been there, we led the way, and they need to know that they are part of all of that. And I'm looking forward to assisting any of you and being able to allow myself available to carry this out. Red, White, and Blues, Rise Up. That's the name.
I like it, Ian, and we shall definitely talk about that. And Michael, I'm sure you would be interested. So when that's ready, pass it through and we'll have that conversation, because education is the point, is definitely the key for all of us to move forward. Michael, there was a question that was asked on what are the top 5 programs that the Urban League, let me see what the question actually is. Hold on one second. The top 5 action items the Urban League is looking to do in the next 12 months, and also the programs that are going on at the Urban League currently, post COVID and pre-COVID, pre and post.
Various forms of workforce development and entrepreneurship. Those are the 2 bright hubs. On the workforce development is construction, because there's more cranes out here than any place else in the construction industry. Were designated as essential workers, so they've been working and being paid all through the pandemic. So we need to be a part of that. One of our newest programs is called Backstage Careers. The entertainment community has been trying to diversify the artistic side of the ledger for some years now, but there wasn't enough attention being paid to the below the line members of the entertainment industry. So we're training people to get these well-paying jobs of the backstage careers for people that build the sets, the people that, the grips, so on and so forth. So that program has started, and we're getting a lot of positive responses with respect to that. But we're also, one of the biggest parts of my job is advocacy. I mean, we have, there's so many different areas, certainly voting registration, certainly the census. We need to be, every one of us needs to be counted. But there are so many other issues that are out there that have to be addressed. We are constantly butting heads with both the police union and the police, certainly the police union, and fighting leadership of LAPD, but we're also fighting for our children at LAUSD. The Urban League is not only a place where we help people get jobs and start businesses, but we are there to fight for the rights of all of our citizens on a going forward basis. And that is a 24/7 job. And I am not just proud to be in this chair doing that, but you wake up in the morning and before sunrise, and you know that you are doing something that will change the lives of somebody in our community, and that's what this is all about. There's so much work that needs to be done. There's so many fights that need to be fought. You know, we had a rash of apparent suicides, which I'm not sure that there were, but if they were, we have to do something about our community, and if they're to address the issues that create that, and we have to make sure that our people are safe and healthy and are moving to the next level. There's so much work that needs to be done, but we are up to it. I'm not sure if that answered the question, but as much as we talk about the programs that we have, it is the strength of our staff and the support of people like the folks who are on this call that give us the ability to move the needle. When we call, the elected officials pay attention to what we have to say, and we are not going to just let them bulldoze us to accept the crumbs that they want to just dole out to us, or pretend that they're doling out to us, like the $150 million that they said they were pulling out of the police budget. It was money that wasn't even in the police budget that they're claiming to that effect. But we understand this, we know this. We're not gonna back down, and we're gonna keep pushing forward. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, John Lewis among them, and we owe it to them to keep the fight moving.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Michael.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, you go ahead, Crystal, then I'll go to the next.
Thank you so much, Michael. There's a couple of people that want to, before we have about 5 minutes, so before we end, we so appreciate and anything that we can do to help anyone in our community, any of the CBOs in our community, just reach out to us, and we're here for you and for Vermont's Lawson and all the other organizations that are on here. I think it's very important that we come together as a coalition and move our needle for so that our people will thrive. Joe, you had a couple of comments you wanted to make, and then from there, Colette, I don't know if you still had anything else to indicate you would like to say, and Selma has a comment, and then that should bring us wrapped around. There's quite a few other comments, and we will continue on till next week with the rest of all the comments, but there's talks about reparations and mergers, which I hadn't known about, Broadway Federal and City First Bank. That'll be interesting. Oh yeah, I did see that. So Joe, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? You wanted to add? Joe Razan, is he still here?
I'll make it, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make it real fast. And just on a personal note, Vermont's Lawson is seeking 2 executive positions, one a fund development officer, as well as a director of loan services. So it's posted on our website and on our social media platform. So if you have anybody you think that may be interested, please take a look at our website.
Okay, that was it. All right, Colette, did you have any more that you want to add?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I just wanted to make sure that we've been hearing some confusion about the EIDL loan in our community, that for the emergency disaster loan, that people in our community are kind of distrusting. They don't really understand that the rates are really high. So we did a comparison basically of the EIDL and a typical SBA loan. It is a really, really good program for our community. The rate is really low. The terms are 30 years if you need them. There's a deferment. No other lenders really give you deferments on payment. There's no collateral required under $25,000, and there's no personal guarantee. There's no processing fee. There are all these things. And so when we compared those 2 loans, if you had $150,000, your monthly pay or your monthly loan payment would be about $700 with the EIDL versus about $2,300 with a typical SBA loan. And so I want our community to make sure that we take advantage of this opportunity. It is not bank-based, it's federal government-based. There's some things to do it well so that you can apply and hopefully get money. We're helping people with reconsideration, but I just wanted to share that it is a good program, and I don't want people to be afraid of it. And if they are, to get some help to walk through it and how it might be able to help their business. So that was one. Then also the LA COVID Recovery Fund, for those that are not aware, the next period for application is August. So 8/31 is the next date. So that's August 31st, and that's the LA COVID Fund. So you're going to start those applications on Monday for that entire week. Once you apply this time for that fund, you do not have to apply again. And there's significant new money that is coming to that program. It started out as a $3 million program. It is now in the multi-million dollars that has been applied to make this a bigger grant. So all you have to do is apply once. It's a lottery system, and they've added a new category actually that is called the medium-sized business, and that will be up to $25,000 versus the other ones are $5,000 and $15,000. So that's a $25,000 grant. So if you need help with that or need information, please let me know, and I'll drop that into the grant. And then one last thing, there is a Facebook grant for Black businesses. I'm going to drop that in. That application is due on the 31st of August. And so, and it is for Black businesses. There's a focus Facebook has put on Black businesses. We just became aware of this grant. Again, grant means you do not have to pay it back. So please go and take a look at that one in addition to the LA COVID Fund. If you applied for the LA COVID Fund before, you do have to apply for this fourth round in order to be in the bucket going forward. So those last ones that you did, you have to apply again, and then make sure to meet the deadline here for this Facebook Black Business Grant. So always on the lookout for new grants. Our folks need grants, not just loans, but if you're gonna get a loan, make sure to take advantage of that EIDL loan before it expires and before the money runs out. And please let other people know our community is behind in understanding the resources that are available. So please let your friends, family, and to make sure to share these opportunities for improving their business and getting some of the money that they need to be able to sustain. And that's it for me.
Colette, I thought I saw for the Facebook one, and I'll do some more research, that it was looking for businesses with 50 employees or more, which I thought was interesting. But I will look into this. Okay, so that's
between 1 and 50.
1 and 50. Okay, that's fantastic. There's also, I came across, there's a SBA disaster loan that's the extended to September 16th. Is that the EIDL? Is that something different?
That is the Carl loan. I think that requires technical assistance. The terms are a little bit different. CDC loans is actually the group that I know that's processing those particular Carl loans. I think it's like 7 or 8 years. So the terms are a little bit different.
Okay. So
and that's for people that I would say, if you have not applied to the EIDL and you need additional money, that may be a loan for you. And I believe it ends in like middle of September.
Yeah, I saw the date was September 16th. So, and anyone that has run out, their PPP money has run out, can they apply for that as well? Grants are better for them, but
yes, they can.
Okay. Kelly, you have a comment. Can you share?
Yes, I was just saying, one of the things we wanted to know is how we, the business community, can support you, Michael, in the Urban League.
2 ways. One is collaboration, and many people on this call, we are engaged in, or we're working on engaging in collaborative efforts. The second is we need donations, we need contributions, just like every other nonprofit we are. We can't do more than our assets allow us to do. We have been punching above our weight over the last 3+ years, and I want to give a shout out to the staff for doing just yeoman's work. But we are looking for we need not only your moral support but your financial support. So please take a moment and make a donation to the Los Angeles Urban League so we can get ready for our next 100 years.
So they do that online?
You can do that.
Or write it, mail a check?
On our website. We have a donate now button on our website, but you can also send us a check. through the mail. So I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We're at 12:02, and we want to thank Michael, thank you for taking time out to talk to us and have this conversation, and Joe and Colette and anyone else that contributed in. And so we will see you guys next week. This video is on Facebook Live right at the present moment. It will be a watch party very shortly, as soon as I get off, and then I will send it back out to you. I'll send the uploaded copy to YouTube, and then I'll send it out to you with any of the comments and information that was put in the chat room. I'll provide that for you as well. So you guys have a safe week, a safe weekend. Be safe. Stay masked up so we can come out of our quarantine and behave like regular people, because some of us are going stir crazy. And we will see you guys next week. Be safe. And
Thanks,
make sure you
Crystal.
vote. Tell everybody to vote.
Yes. Red, white, and blue. Rise up.
And complete the census.
And complete the census. Absolutely.
Yes.
Complete the census is important.
March on Washington activities tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Concert in Lamert Park tomorrow, and something tonight too. Or the virtual. Yeah.
Be calling you soon, Michael. Red, white, and blues. Hello,
All
Greg.
right.
All righty. See you guys.
Everybody. Good to
Bye-bye.
see you.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
No.
Talk to you, Kelly.
All righty.